In this video we will show you how to complete a full PDS search within EPR. To begin this process you will need PM Office and you will need to ensure you've got smart card access to the system. From here I'm going to navigate to the outpatient referral list within the conversation band. In order to complete a full PDS search, you will need the patient's surname, the gender and the date of birth at a minimum. Once you've typed in the patient's surname, gender and date of birth, you can either press enter on your keyboard or press the search button, at which stage the system will do a local search which checks if the patient is already currently registered within EPR. At this point you can see that the patient is already currently registered within EPR, but the next stage in this process is to complete the PDS search. PDS stands for Patient Demographic Search, and it will ensure that this patient's local record within EPR is correctly linked with the spine. This will ensure that if the patient does update their GP details, so for example if the patient has moved their home address or change their telephone number, change GP, all they will need to do is update it with their GP practice or their new GP practice. This will be uploaded onto the spine, and as soon as we complete the PDS search and link this patient's local record with the spine, it will pull through any updates that has been received for this patient. As soon as I click the PDS search, the first step is to complete the organisation window. You should not be filling in the client name at the top, and you should only be entering the facility name. For example, Bradford Royal Infirmary, Westwood Park, St Mary's Hospital. For training purposes, I'm going to select for Bradford Royal Infirmary and ensure it is the lowercase Bradford Royal Infirmary and not the uppercase. At this stage the system is asking for what facility we need to enter, not the trust as a whole, so you should never be selecting the uppercase at this stage. So I'm going to ensure it's the Bradford Royal Infirmary I've highlighted and press OK. Comes up with an audit box, so you can acknowledge the warning, just letting you know that this is going to be audited for security reasons, and accept. Now at this stage it has pulled up a list of PDS results. Now if for example I had searched for a common name such as Robinson, it might come up with a long list of results at this point. If you do end up with a long list of results, it might be best advised to cancel out of this screen and return to the PDS search and maybe type in some further details such as a forename, just to dwindle your results down slightly, so that you don't risk accidentally selecting the wrong patient. Alternatively, you might end up pulling through no matching patients on the PDS search. So if this is the case and it comes up with this PDS did not return any results, this does not necessarily mean that the patient is an overseas patient, for example, and they're not on the spine. It could just be that you've typed in their details incorrectly. For this reason, it might be beneficial to have your summary care records open, and just keep this open at the bottom of your screen. This will allow you to type in the patient's NHS number, and it will verify if you've spelt the patient's name correctly. If you have a double-barreled name, for example, it will instruct you on how to correctly input the patient's name to make sure that we've pulled through the PDS. So I'm just going to return to this process, but this time I am going to complete the full PDS. I have found the correct patient, and I can verify that by the NHS number and the address, as well as the GP details. So once I've highlighted the correct patient from this list, I'm going to click the select button. Now at this stage it has pulled up a discrepancy screen. On the left hand side of the screen we have a local person, and on the right hand side we have a PDS person. At this stage you should be verifying which side is most up to date. So the local person is what the EPR system currently holds on this patient, whereas on the right hand side it is showing what the spine currently holds on this patient, i.e. what the GP has on this patient. Now each of these fields will have a date from when they're effective from. So this is how you can verify which side is most up to date. So I can see that the right hand side is most up to date. So this is the side that I am actually going to accept. Now at this point, if it did turn out that the EPR information, the local information that we have on this patient is more up to date, you can choose to just keep the left hand side rather than the right hand side at that stage. But whichever side is most up to date, once you've selected it, you can press update. So that is the PDS search complete. At this stage you can proceed to creating your encounter and the rest of the process.